This is Ferb McGiggins, your fly-in-the-eye traffic reporter, and as usual, it is a mess down there. Might as well just park and walk.
Ferb, if I may interrupt, who is flying the helicopter at this moment?
Well, Dale,
We've talked about a couple of very special episodes of Rocko's Modern Life so far here on Sample Platter. Double-length meta-stories about the animation industry, musical episodes about the environment, great stuff. But we haven't really seen Rocko in his natural habitat. We haven't really established what a normal baseline episode of this show even looks like. Rocko's Modern Life is primarily a show about the tiny annoyances from modern convenience, compounded by quantity. And to demonstrate this, here's a random mid-season episode with all the fixings. Originally airing on November 6, 1994, Boob Tubed / Commuted Sentence is the 5th episode of Rocko's Modern Life's 2nd season, the 18th episode overall. Our first segment, Boob Tubed, was written by series regular Martin Olson, who would go on to write a ton of Phineas and Ferb, and was directed by Alan Smart, who had come in from The Simpsons and Rugrats, and would follow Stephen Hillenburg over to SpongeBob SquarePants afterwards. Hillenburg also worked on this episode in both the storyboards and adding a few jokes to the script. Rocko is in the market for a new television set, but what was once a stylish piece of wood grain furniture is now a big ordeal with giant screens, surround sound, video players. A television is a commitment now. And that's if you can work your way past the store's sneaky upsell tactics of just forcing you to buy a more expensive TV.
Congratulations, you have just purchased the Hibachi Entertainment Monopoly with TBX surround sound speakers. A total of $1,578.95 has been debited to your account. Thank you.
That's not right! That's not right!
After getting swindled into a centuries-long payment plan, Rocko, Heifer, and Filbert decide to have an all-night movie party, grabbing every VHS tape they can find and marathoning until they pass out. All except Heifer, who gets so hypnotized by the television set that it sucks his brains out. So now Rocko and Filbert need to find and return Heifer's brain. So you know how some TV channels have that snowy static? That's because it's actual snow. Every television is a portal to a winter realm where one man controls all of television. Don't bother him though, he's busy. Just go check through the brain pile.
It looks like a fruitcake. Ever!
What I find interesting about Boob Tubed is that there is very little parody of actual television shows and movies here. You'd think we'd get some good jokes out of the things they're watching, maybe some pre-Rick and Morty interdimensional cable, some spoofing like in Channel Chasers. But instead, the cartoon is far more interested in the television as an artifact, a cultural symbol of, well, modern life. If you think about it, television is kind of a weird thing to take up so much of our time with. The second segment, Commuted Sentence, was written by series creator Joe Murray and welcome freshman scribe Tim Hill, and was directed by George Chaltis, who also came in from Rugrats and The Simpsons, with storyboards done by future Phineas and Ferb co-creator Jeff Swampy Marsh. Rocko is finding the commute to his job at the comic book store more difficult these days thanks to construction and fewer parking spaces, and being even just a few minutes late brings down the wrath of his boss, Mr. Smitty.
Any moron can see that time equals what? Huh?
Money?
I can't hear you!
Money?
Money, sir! Time is money! I hope it won't be necessary to have this little chat again.
It's bad enough managing all the zoning laws and parking tickets, but soon Rocko's car gets towed, sent to the impound lot where it suddenly gains sentience so that it can act out a little prison subplot.
It's that red one over there.
Oh yeah, the other cars call them fancy fenders. Term of endearment, I'm sure.
With his car gone, Rocko has no choice but to engage with the horrors of public transportation. It's basically rapid-fire jokes, reminiscent to the structure of the piecemeal gags in your typical Looney Tunes short. You got your taxicab gag, and then bam, you got your bus gag, and then bam, you got your subway gag.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're sorry for the delay, but the train has stopped due to police activity.
Police activity?
And today's police activity is arts and crafts.
Hey, I'm painting eggs here.
Each one getting a little more sillier and a little more extreme until Rocko's just, bam, shooting himself out of a cannon. Actually, it reminds me even more of newspaper comic strips. Much of these gags could easily be translated into 3 panels with word balloons, providing sensible chuckles between Sally Forth and Frank and Ernest. With Joe Murray on the script for this one, I feel like this is a pretty good example of what's at the heart of Rocko's modern life. A Seinfeld-esque, what's the deal with stand-up routine laundered through a children's cartoon. And I mean that affectionately, by the way. These little 15 to 30 second gags have a real, you know what grinds my gears quality to them. It's Andy Rooney as an animated wallaby. Because let's be real, how many children are actually going to relate to issues like how expensive television sets are or how slow traffic instruction seems to take? They'll still enjoy it all, of course. It's cartoon animals making silly jokes. That's why I watched it when I was 7. But it's not really serving that 7-year-old demographic. Rocko's Modern Life was the first Nicktoon greenlit after the initial trilogy. Doug, Rugrats, and The Ren Stimpy Show had all been successful to various degrees, but the big standout had been Ren and Stimpy, and how it brought an older demographic of high school, college-aged, and older adults to the channel. Basically, the MTV demographics were sliding over to Nickelodeon. And since Ren and Stimpy was the biggest success out of the original Nicktoons, at least initially, it's only natural that Nickelodeon would look for something that hit similar buttons and spoke to a similar demographic. If anything, Rocko's use of social commentary and innuendo spoke more to the grown-ups in the audience than Ren and Stimpy's whole booger routine. And the result was 1/5 of the show's audience being adults. It was always our intent to create shows that would be entertaining on many levels. Sometimes the censors questioned some of the material targeted to the more adult viewers, and on occasion we disagreed with their opinion, and other times we could see their need to play it a little safer. I have been told by many people that we succeeded in this endeavor, and many parents I know really enjoyed watching the show with their kids for just this reason. This episode didn't need much censorship, but it is a really good example of how Rocko's Modern Life played to the grown-ups in the audience. Yes, Mom, programming the VCR is such a hassle. You're right, Dad. It's frustrating that you can't park on the red curb. Hey, parents, you might want to stick around. We have Rocky and Bullwinkle reruns later. Boob Tubed / Commuted Sentence is a really solid, really funny episode of Rocko's Modern Life, and perhaps the perfect sample platter. Sure, other episodes take bigger swings, either by changing up the formula or really pushing the adult stuff to the limit, but this is the kind of episode you want to put on to establish the baseline intentions and qualities of Nickelodeon's sophomore effort in original animation. Of course, there's a much deeper conversation to be had about aiming to adults on a children's television show. One we'll certainly have when Knacks gets to 1993 and we cover Rocko's Modern Life proper. This was just a sample.